Devo Jones with the pick six, Keanu O'Neal with the hard hit, getting the ball back on offense. Watch Julio Jones keep moving the sticks. Calvin Ridley in for the score. We came back, we up 4, about to get in. Our victory stats, no coming back. We closing the door. A-T-L blackout. A-T-L blackout.
What's going on, football fans? It's me, J.R. Clark, back again with another rendition of the Pound for Pound Live. Got my guy Jimmy, got my guy Mike. Jimmy, what you got for me?
Hey, man, this your boy Jimbo Dean, a.k.a. Jimbo Slice, a.k.a. Jimmy Obama. And you can call me any one of those you want. But please do not call me New Orleans Saints fan. We just stole that guy. We got us a GM. Shout out to the Voodoo Doctor. What's up, Mike? What's going on, baby?
Hey, man, it's hump day. Feeling new, you know. We got to say new coach, new GM, new regime, and a new week to talk about it. So
Yes,
it's all about
That's
new
it.
this week, man. And guess what? It ain't a better place in content land than Pound for Pound
That's
ATL.
right.
And, JR talks to these people, man.
Dude,
What's up,
I guess you
JR?
could say for quite a while, I'm as excited as I've been in a minute, right? We finally got our guy in here. We got the GM in here. That finally got announced, Terry Fontenot. We got our guy, Arthur Smith, up in the building. Be interested to see how this era kicks off. So, yeah, man, it's a lot of, like, newness in the ATL. A lot of, newness going around in the building. Even here in the Pound per Pound, I feel like a breath of fresh air has come through the proverbial virtual building. Now, granted, we're not in the same building, obviously, but I feel like I can kind of breathe. You see that light at the end of the tunnel.
Right,
So
baby.
that's the part that's super exciting. We finally got the official news that Dirk Cutter won't be back. I mean, we knew that he wouldn't be back, but I finally got to see it in writing. So that's something that I personally have been waiting on. Yeah, exactly. Yay! Y'all should
Yes,
never
sir.
have to hear me rant about Dirk Cutter. At least, well, I don't know. I'll probably rant about him again. It'll come.
No,
back.
it'll come back up.
We'll get him again.
JR has
Oh,
PTSD
man, come on.
about Dirk Cutter. Let's just go ahead
Flashbacks,
and put it out there. He wakes up at night and he's like,
He's
you
like,
should have
"Oh,
ran
God,
the ball.
Run the ball.
And he threw the doggone ball on first. Anyway, keep going, JR.
But now I know for all y'all who've been following us on Twitter and stuff like that, we've been tweeting about the shift to Wednesday. So we appreciate the ones who are here and join us on Wednesday. We appreciate the love that we've been shown in the last couple videos that I put out. The breaking news kind of stuff. But with our own little breaking news, I promised a surprise, and a surprise I shall deliver. Our newest breaking news is that we got Toby D back in the building. For all those who are asking where he was, he is returned to the Pound for Pound family. Toby D, what's going on, man?
What's up,
Man,
Toby?
what's up, man? What's up, y'all? P4P, ATL all day long. Listen, I might have been out, but I still celebrated y'all and wish y'all well and everything you've done. And y'all have definitely not disappointed and have held it down. And I just thank you guys. I feel honored
That's right.
to be back with you
That's
all
right.
right now.
We're glad. We're absolutely glad to have you back in every way, shape, or form. We noticed the last couple live streams we've been having. I've been seeing your name poking around in the chat, so I felt like it might have been time, especially after last week when you was all up in chat. I was like, all right, he's got to come back. And thankfully enough, you didn't disappoint. You showed, you said you were ready, and I'm totally glad that you decided to come back. And and what better time, right? What better time to
Beautiful.
to come back in the fold. And we got a lot of stuff to talk about this off season. There's so much that we're going to have to be diving into. First round of that type of talk will come out tomorrow. I've done a film study on Arthur Smith for the Thursday Falcon Eye View. So it's just a short film study. We're going to get more in depth as the off season goes on, as as we cut players, as we bring players in, as we draft players, all that's going to, dictate. So we hope that y'all decide to stick with us. But I want to start it up with you. I'm going to start it up with you, Toby. What was your impression
Let's go, Toby.
of Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot? Like when you heard that that's who, we decided to go with, what were your thoughts?
Well, before I start that, shout out to Ghost Peppers because he sprinkled in, some words of encouraging me to see if I can come back. So I do have to say that. So if he's in the chat, what's up, Ghost Peppers? I will say this, Arthur Smith, you know who he reminds me of, and I texted this to y'all last night. He reminds me of a Mike McCarthy in his early days. I think the difference though now is that Mike McCarthy was an OC for 5 years before Green Bay got to him. And he also came in on the tail end of Brett Favre's career. Brett Favre was 37, Matt Ryan will be 35
36, going on 37,
when he comes in. 30, yeah. So it's kind of a similar situation. I think if, Matt Ryan is here, I know most people want to see him gone, but Matt Ryan is here. I think him and Matt Ryan will have success together. But the reason why I said Arthur Smith reminds me of Mike McCarthy because I think the Falcons got him at the right time so that they could hopefully ride that success for at least 10 to 13 years as opposed to the 5 or 6 short shelf life that they've had with Mike Smith and Dan
No, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good comparison. And not in a, I know he didn't have much success with his first year in Dallas, but I think that as long as he isn't as bullheaded or as stubborn as McCarthy seems, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm good with that. But I did like the fact that in his initial presser, you got the acknowledgement that we don't have a Derrick Henry on this roster, and you can't always find a Derrick Henry. So I was glad to see that. Like he just right out the rip, went ahead and acknowledged that, no, I ain't bringing Derrick Henry with me, so to speak. So I thought that was a good thing. Jimmy, what was your thoughts on Mr. Smith and Fontenot?
I mean, with Arthur Smith first, I see a no-nonsense type of guy. I think he's going to put that type of, I'm your coach and you're my player and we are not family type of atmosphere, type of culture in Flowery Branch, which is something that I think we need. Brother, coach and player shouldn't be brother and family. I need for you to go out there and do a job for me and make me look good. And in turn, I make you look good and get you paid. And that Arthur Smith give me that persona of I'm no nonsense. I'm not your brother. I'm your coach type of situation. And that's kind of what I wanted. That's kind of how I like it. Now, when it comes to Terry or Fontenot, the voodoo doctor himself, when you see, this is the thing I wanted to put out on Big Terry L. You see that smile, right? But that is a sinister type of smile, okay, when it comes to business. He gonna treat it like a type of a New England Patriots type of a system. We're not gonna do a Victor Beasley fifth year.
Right.
No, he's gone. We're not gonna sit here and let Pat McKinley put this on social media and still be around. He's gone immediately. We're not gonna wait and see if this player could be good in the 5th year. We're gonna go get him rid of him now before we have to pay him and draft somebody and bring somebody in cheaper that can still perform at the same level as that guy. And that's what I got out of them two, both of them two. That combo, I think, is outstanding. And at the end of the day, they are about football and the Atlanta Falcons fans, which something we didn't get from this past combo that we had. They was more about just building the name of the brotherhood than satisfying the fan. And that's what I got out of it, JR. And I
do too. Mike, what you got?
Yeah. Well, I think the thing about Arthur Smith for me is he said something. He was one of those guys that I can tell from the jump. He's not going to say much, but it's going to permeate. It's going to mean a lot. Let me tell you what he said. He said, without saying it, there will be no entitlement on this team. So you mean to tell me a team that has been this poor, this lackluster, this consistent, would have the nerve to be entitled.
Yeah.
What type of culture is
Right.
that? It looks like Arthur, it looks like Smith was able to come in and look around the culture and say, at the Titans, we were a bad team. As a matter of fact, he's a guy that knows what the Titans used to be because he started. What I like about this guy, he started from the bottom. He worked his way to the top.
Right.
So this is a guy that's humble. He comes to work every day, and he is a lunch pail guy. I think the one word that his players use to describe him is tireless.
Yeah, no doubt.
I like when you say that he is a tireless worker about his craft, which means this is a guy who takes his job serious. He is a guy that will, again, put the X's and O's and make adjustments. So I think that's one thing that stuck out about me is that he's not willing to not, I think that calling guys out, I think that'll be more in line with Raheem Morris. Now, Terry Fontenot, really quick on him. I like the fact that he has scouted this division for so long. He understands the climate of this division. I think it can't go without saying that, hey, look, Tom Brady is great. We know what Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback to ever play, but he's still 43 years old. I think that this is still a division that I constantly harp on. It is still up for taking for the Falcons. People want us to rebuild so bad, but right now we're not that far. The Saints can be beat right now. It's about trying to tear them up too. They've been one of the most winning teams the last 4 years with no Super Bowl. So they're at a point where they know how to win a lot of games, but it's still up for grabs. So that's my take. Fontenot, Smith, I like it. I think we hit it out of the park. Those are both guys that are going to roll up their sleeves, bring their lunch pail to work, and I don't think you could ask for a better combo.
I agree. Right. In a sense of, I like the fact that they got a guy who is, like you said, is familiar with this division. He's been in this division for 18 years now. Whether you like it or not, the Saints organization has been able to sign whoever they wanted to sign, regardless of where the cap was at. Like, I've made jokes for years. What kind of voodoo magic are they working over there? I hope that he brought some of it with him. You know what I'm saying? Because we're going to need it.
Yes, sir.
I do like some of the statements that were made by, I think it was an article written by D-Led that Mike Mularkey, he had interviewed Mike Mularkey because obviously Arthur Smith worked under Mike Mularkey when he was there in Tennessee. And, the fact that he said it was almost a year of working with this guy before he found out who his daddy was. And for y'all, the ones who don't know and haven't already heard, Arthur Smith's daddy is the founder of FedEx. Like, technically speaking, Arthur Smith is worth more money than Arthur Blank. He's the richest Arthur in the building. But it took, it took Mularkey a year. You remember back years ago when there were rumors floating around that Bon Jovi was going to buy the Titans? The players kept asking Arthur if his daddy was going to buy the Titans. And that's how he found out, right? That, to me, that speaks volumes. I spent a lot of time around, rich people, right? Just in the work that we do, right? The some of the circles that we run, you run into people who are worth well more than you are, right? Some folks you can tell, some folks you can't, right? The guy who owned my company up until he sold it, if you met him on the street, you couldn't tell that man was worth millions. But then you got some guys who it just drips off of them, right? So it's good to see that he paid his dues in a sense of working his way up from intern to quality control to assistant, retained by 3 different head coaches. Now, how different is that in the NFL? Retained by 3 different head coaches. Okay. Now,
and one more thing too. Let's not forget all 7 teams were openings. Requested an interview from this guy.
Every one of them.
Teams.
That's it.
Keep rolling, Jim.
Every one of them. And for all that talk that, this wasn't a desirable job, all of them offered it to him or interviewed him, and he chose this one. Okay?
Right.
If he didn't like the offer, or if he thought it was a bad shot, he could have done what Brian DeBall did. There's still 2 openings. Philly and Texans. There's still 2 openings.
Yep.
Brian DeBall said, "Nah, I'll stay in Buffalo."
Speaking values for those organizations, ain't they? and for ours as well.
That's right.
As well.
Now, I will say this flat out. There is some concern that Rich McKay is still in the building.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
There is still some concern there.
Said some.
Now, I will say this. I personally feel like Rich McKay is Arthur Blank's mouthpiece. I think at this junction in Arthur Blank's career as a business owner, he's decided I'm going to enjoy the rest of my life, so to speak. And he, got somebody to be what we call in the construction industry, an owner's rep. Okay. And so, yes, they're going to answer to Rich McKay. But I feel like I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing, as some people are feeling like it is. But, that's what remains to be seen. I would have liked a fully fresh start, like no holdovers whatsoever. But,
me too.
We get what we can get. All right, so that's our opening salvo. We're going to go ahead and jump into chat as we do. Starting all the way back up at the top, we got Jaden. Jaden said hello. Anthony, he says hello. Ona says hello. Everybody is saying what's up. Juan Carter. Juan, did I say it right this time? Juan Carter. Juan Carter.
Juan Carter. Juan, we got you this.
Got you.
Got you.
He says rise. Y'all know I'm bad with names. Y'all know I am. Steve Falcon says what's up. He says, we fired Dirk Cutter and Chris Morgan got let go. Yeah, Chris Morgan. But that doesn't surprise me, because Arthur Smith's straight up and down background is O-line, right? O-line and tight ends. Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me one bit that the O-line coach got let go. Quentin Williams says, what's up, fellas? What's going on? Marwin Cabal says, what's good, ATL? What's going on, Marwin? All right, let's see. We're going to keep on rolling. Keep on. All right, here we go. Here's the first one up. It says, Bug says, Toby D. So there it starts up. And we got Daquan Patton says, Toby D. Onus Knox says, Toby, welcome back. Speed Falcon is very excited to have Toby back, as is a lot of other people.
Yes,
Red
sir.
Eagle. Uncle Javon says, the GOAT is back. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, you bringing him back, hey, bro. You bringing him out the woodwork.
I don't know about
Hey,
all
look.
that now.
Hey, look. I'm gonna put it like this,
No,
Toby.
no.
I ain't seen a comment from Tasman in months, and here,
Man,
right, you're bringing him out, brother. I like it. Philip Bonner says, "Yo, Toby D, what's up, brother? Welcome back." I see somebody was commented on the Fantastic Four. Yes, sir. Welcome back.
Hey, y'all name it. Y'all pay
I love
this.
it, boy.
Man, you know what?
Somebody, I'm trying to find a comment now. Somebody said the original Four Horsemen back. That's what I'm talking about.
Somebody.
Iron Mike, he said, "Oh snap, is that Toby D?" Yes, it is Toby D, in the flesh. So, which is awesome.
Man,
I'm loving it.
Sir.
JR, you can block out me and Jimbo.
No, can't do that.
We love it. We love it. We love it.
Everybody's very happy to see Toby D come back, as we are very happy to have Toby D back. Let's see. We're going to go up here to Archangel. He says, I think we're getting Zach Wilson. I hope Rich McKay takes off the training wheels. Speed Falcon says, no, Archangel, we have bigger needs than QB. That's going to be the entire offseason debate. What do you do it for?
Yes.
I'm going to tell you this right now in end of January, okay? I feel like for the first time, we actually have a real shot of trading down. I never actually felt that way with TD at the helm. Like every draft season come around, is this the year we're going to trade down? No. We might trade up. No. We ain't going to trade down. I feel like this year may be the first year that and people are going to be like, oh man, you can't trade down. You may never be this high again. I'm going to tell you something, folks. If there's two real possibilities here, you trade down and pick up an extra first round next year as well. Now you have draft capital to trade back up next year if you want it. And you have a guy like a Spencer Rattler coming out of Oklahoma. Okay.
Preach.
There are
Preach.
quarterbacks in every draft.
JT Daniels.
What'd you say, Bo? JT Daniels. There you go. I mean,
yeah.
there are quarterbacks that
JR
come out
preaching.
in every draft, right? So
Yes,
you
sir.
stock up draft picks this year and say at the end of this season, Arthur Smith says, okay, look, this guy ain't going to work for me. He's old. He's ornery. He don't want to do what I want him to do, so on and so forth, whatever. Whatever the case may be, right? And he say he wants to move on from Matt Ryan. First of all, you're better off moving on next year than you are this year financial-wise, okay? So that's number one. That's number one, right? So number two, you have draft capital to move back up. And if it don't go well, which there's a real chance it don't, you're going to be picking high again anyway.
All
You see
over
what I'm
again.
saying? Like, look, for all those people, and there's times that I'm one of those people, for all those people that automatically assume this guy's going to bring in a good scheme and we're automatically going to be right back into contention, there's going to be a lot of holes we got to fill.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you are
Absolutely.
way closer to being a bad team than you are a good team after this offseason. You know what I'm saying?
JR in that bag
I mean, I
tonight.
hate to be it like that, but it's the truth, right?
Nah, it's true.
JR, you in that bag tonight,
it's
man.
like,
Give it to him.
you know, Fred Butts tipped us $2. Thank you very much, Fred. He said, "Do y'all think we draft the running back from Alabama? Depending on what you do, if you trade down, right? Say you trade with the Colts. It's Ryan Wonder commented, Matt Ryan will be a Colt. Today, Phillip Rivers retired, right? Phillip Rivers retired. So say the Colts bring you a draft haul that you can't refuse and want Matt Ryan, okay? Say you make a deal there. You know, who knows what you do? Maybe you pick up a quarterback in the second round, or, you know, you take a quarterback with the Colts pick and then package up something and come and grab Najee Harris.
Yeah.
But me personally,
That's speaking of
I
Najee.
don't think
go
Najee
ahead.
Harris is going to be there at the top of the second round. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
What you got, Toby?
Speaking of Najee Harris, shout out to Najee Harris. I just saw that he accepted his invite to the
good,
Senior Bowl.
good.
Now, hopefully, he goes ahead and do that thing next week on next Saturday on the 30th.
We watching
I
that.
just had to throw
Yeah,
that
no
out there.
doubt. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I think if you stay at 4, you don't draft Najee Harris. That's too rich for my blood. You know.
Mine too.
Now, Fontenot,
It's a lot of good running backs.
yeah. There's a cat out of Javonte Williams out of North Carolina. That dude looks
Yes,
stout.
sir.
And I'm gonna go ahead and call it. It's
Yep.
a point I brought up in my
Boy.
film study from yesterday, or that I recorded earlier for tomorrow, rather. You still got Quadre Olison on this roster that you don't know what you got in, who has almost 0 NFL miles on him. That while he was at Pitt, recorded over two 1,000-yard seasons. So, I mean, you may not need to draft a Najee Harris. You know?
Might not.
You know,
Might
you
not.
got,
And JR, and I'm not saying Olison is Derrick Henry. I'm
Right.
not saying that. But Derrick Henry was in that same type of situation in Tennessee before Arthur Smith took over as the OC. And that's when that running game, that's when he started running the ball way more better. Derrick Henry was a no-show.
And and hold on, Jimbo, that's a good point. That's 3 strengths in Arthur Smith that I've heard from us talking. One, he's a little bit of a quarterback fixer-upper, because if you look at the work that he did with Tannehill, it's worth mentioning. He saw that diamond in Derrick Henry, and he knew how to use him, right? And then you also said that he has on field actually been an offensive line coach in this NFL, right? That's a trifecta. That's another strength that needs to be noted as we bring this team together and as we had a cohesion, because those are all points that we need that are weaknesses right now in this Atlanta Falcons team.
And I think those strengths that you bring up there, Mike, I think are the solid reason why he got the job that he got. I think they looked at their team. I think Arthur Blank and Rich McKay took a real hard look at these last few years and said, you know what we can't do? We can't run the damn ball. You know the best thing for an aging quarterback and a new quarterback and a young quarterback is running the damn ball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, flat out. Let's be real honest here, guys. Regardless if we keep Ryan for the next 2 or 3 years or not, it is like, how do you make his life easier? How do you get the most out of him? Run the ball.
That's right.
Be able to establish a run game. In my film study, and it's a point I brought up yesterday. I keep saying yesterday. Point I brought up earlier, and I'm gonna quit bringing up points because y'all won't watch the daggone video. I keep giving it away. But one of the points that I brought up, is that Derrick Henry, almost on command in that scheme, got you 3 yards. Like, regardless, very rarely was Derrick Henry stopped behind the line of scrimmage. And that's because that offensive line was able to push that line. You see what I'm saying? They were able to give him 3 yards before he got hit.
But let me ask you guys this question real quick. And I'm pretty sure it's going to come up in chat, but we might as well get it while it's on top of our head. Ravens release Mark Ingram.
No.
Could he?
No.
Toby does.
Y'all getting Todd Gurley vibes? Are we getting another?
That's definitely a Todd Gurley vibe. But do not be surprised if Terry Fontenot, his boy, might reach out there. Toby. You know it. It's a connection down there.
I listen, man. I think I would rather do Brian Hill and Edo Smith and Olsen, see what you got there before we go out to Mark Ingram. And then Mark Ingram stays injured. You know what I'm saying? He ain't the same guy, and he's on the wrong side of the tracks when it comes to the age.
And what kills the whole thing, we ain't got no salary cap money for him.
We don't.
That kills the whole thing real quick.
Bug tipped us $2. Thank you, Bugs. She says, Toby, welcome back. It says, any clue on the new OC and DC? Now, the OC, I've heard I can't remember the cat's name, but it's from Carolina, the wide receiver coach from Carolina that is floating around. Frischman, there it is.
Yep. I'm Frischman.
And then the only name I've really heard for DC, like real name, is Don Pease or Dean Pease or Don Pease.
Yeah, Dean Pease.
So that's the only real name, is that maybe he would try to drag him out of retirement. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
So
I would say this first. So y'all know, after I found out who Arthur Smith's dad was, I had to go look up his dad a little bit, right? And he had the 10 rules, philosophical rules to have a successful business, and number 4 was innovative. And you heard Arthur Smith mention about building a group around him that's innovative. I mean, you need guys. Sometimes the stupidest question can have some common sense in there somewhere. And you need guys that's willing to just throw stuff on the wall and let's see what sticks and what works. And you if you get them guys around you, because you can already tell Arthur Smith, if he's anything like a dad, he's a gambler. And that's what I like about Arthur Smith. When it's time and the game is on the line, he's gonna go for it, and he's not gonna be afraid to go for it. And I wouldn't be surprised if his 4th and 1 percentage his first year is not going to be off the charts, because I think he gonna go for it, Doc, when we need.
Hey, Toby D. And one more point. I think, guys, y'all should look at who are one of the top red zone teams.
That's it.
Tennessee Titans.
Oh,
yeah. In the league, red zone efficiency. That's another strength.
Yeah, I would have thought by now that we would have heard some more rumors and rumblings about his OC and DC. Like if wherever he's looking, they are definitely keeping that like under wraps. Ashes says Pease uses a 3-4 defense. I think so.
There we go.
Jarrett and Davidson would go to the outside. That's the thing, is like whoever you bring in, if you do finally get that like switch to a 3-4, you're gonna have to bring in some other guys, because go ahead.
Well, okay. So look, real quick on the 3-4. I think that I think it's a quick conversation. So I think because Arthur Smith will call the plays, He's going to be our play caller because that's what he came out and said. He's going to be the guy calling the plays. So you're looking at your offensive coordinator. So it's a good point to note because, JR, this actually kind of comes back to you a little bit. We're hard on Dirk Cutter. Are we going to be hard on the head coach and the offensive coordinator? Because he's going to be playing that dual role. This time, on the offensive side of the ball, we've been through this with Dan Quinn on the defensive side.
When Dan Quinn was the DC.
But now we're on the offensive side of the ball.
When Dan Quinn was the DC and the head coach, I lit him up. And I'll do the same thing.
You did.
Now, look.
So that's a weakness. That's our first
Joe
weakness.
Houston tipped us $5. Thank you there, Joe. He says, Arthur Smith uses a lot of tight end sets. Don't be surprised if we draft Kyle Pitts. Okay, what I will say to that. Okay, in my study, it's something I'm going to do later on down the road, but in my study, yes, he uses a lot of tight ends, but he uses a lot of tight ends to block. You don't spend Kyle Pitts draft money on somebody who's going to spend the vast majority of their time blocking. Because Jonnu Smith had less than 300 yards receiving. Okay? So, yes, he uses a ton of tight ends. And he uses, that's something that I actually think is really good. And he uses them in creative ways, such as bringing them back in an H-back position or what have you. So there are a lot of, things that he does well with tight ends. But I don't think he uses them in the way when we think of somebody using a tight end. I don't think he's going to produce a Tony Gonzalez. I don't think he's going to produce a George Kittle or Travis Kelce. You see what I'm saying?
Right. I agree with you, and I think that Arthur Smith tight ends is already on this team. His style of tight ends is kind of already on this team, guys. You can believe that if you go back and watch film. Hayden Hurst and Jaden Graham type of tight ends, that's the type of guys he like. I think they already on this team, so I don't think we'll go with Kyle Pitts there. His guys is already on there when it comes to the tight end.
I tend to agree with you that on there, Jimmy. All right, chat is popping off. I'm gonna keep getting back into it. Archangel says, yes, they were good at the red zone. Something we struggled at. Yes, exactly. I really hope that we can put those red zone woes behind us. Anonymous says, P seems like an okay pick, not great. I'm honestly not impressed with Pease. If they do get him, it'll just be temporary, hopefully. Yeah, I almost have like a Wade Phillips type vibe with Pease if they were to bring somebody like that in. Same thing like people are bringing up Wade Phillips' name. I think Wade Phillips is it's a flashy name at defensive coordinator, because he has had a good defense like everywhere he's went. But there are reasons why you move on from these guys, right? Like we're not privy to how they are in meetings and stuff like that. I mean, maybe Wade Phillips has a personality that just wears on somebody. I don't know. But I do know that with Pease, there was a noticeable difference when Pease left the Titans as far as their defense went. So
And Pease has done good work with the Ravens too. He's done good work with the Ravens also. So I think that, a guy like that kind of brings what I consider an AFC mentality to this team. When you think about, those hardworking, gritty defenses, those, even the old Bengals, the Ravens, just Steelers, a lot of those AFC teams that play kind of throwback football. I think that potentially switching to a 3-4, getting Grady kind of more on the outside, maybe we have that big Soliai type of guy back again, and we start because to be honest with you, I will say this though: if we look at the strength of this team right now, the linebackers are a clear strength.
There's part of me that keeps looking at like today you saw Raheem Morris got hired out in Las Vegas, Los Angeles with the Rams. And so but there's part of me that's like keeping a side eye out for old Brick. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't necessarily mind old Brick coming back, just because, man, our linebackers were playing so good last year.
It's crazy.
And I don't want to see them take a step back,
Right.
But let's see. Adam Holloway says he can use Hayden Hurst like Jonnu Smith. He needs to find Their Fisker, which is more of the blocking tight end, I believe, as Fisker was. I think we need both around 50 catches. Ran a lot of 12 and 13 personnel. Also used a lot of extra O linemen. They went with a lot of like heavy sets and big sets, which is something that we're going to have to do to produce in the run game. In this day and age. Ashes says Ulbrich is going to the Jets. He thinks. Yeah, that'll be.
I think I seen that.
Can see, that'd be interesting. There.
Good for them. Good for the
Jets.
Yeah,
dude.
I mean, good for Ulbrich because
he'll be.
He's
right.
Deserving
like Ulbrich will be probably the one coach I will be sad to lose. Somebody suggested about. I think it was Tony Wright brought up Jared Pickney. Pickney got signed by one of the teams that I think is either still in the playoffs. He got signed off our practice squad, so he's no longer on the Falcons.
Remember who it was.
Now, it doesn't mean that we can't Brian Hill him, so to speak, and bring him back if they cut him loose or whatever. Jordan Daniel says,
right.
Do you have to get a top 5 running back in the draft though? If not the number 1 running back to help our offense reach the full potential. Matt having a number 1 back to sell the play action. Okay. See if y'all agree with me on this or not. There is a major misconception that you actually have to have a run game to sell the play action. You don't. The numbers don't bear it out. Okay? You don't have to have a dominant run game you don't even have to rely on the run game. Okay? What you have to do is convince the defense that you're going to run.
You got to sell it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And the one thing, like in watching film, and I highly encourage all of y'all to pull it up on YouTube, pull it up on Game Pass. I don't care where you get it. Go back and watch some Tennessee Titan games. If the tight ends did one thing, buddy, it was run in motion and sell a run play. I don't know how many times I saw Janu Smith lock up like he was going to block and then peel off for a route. You know what I'm saying? So, like, his lack of yards could have just been Tannehill wasn't looking his way kind of thing. Because there were plenty of times that he could have gotten, chunk plays. So, I really feel like, like I said, and the numbers bear it out, you don't have to have a successful run game to make play action successful. And that's something that I wished and prayed that Cutter was going to do, was more play action. But
there you go.
Oh, there you mentioned them. You were doing good, John.
Take a shot.
You
right?
Take a shot. You did. I'll wait.
I know. I tried. I really did. I'm gonna, okay. Next week, y'all gonna have to start finding me if I bring him up again. It'd be like a swear jar.
Keep a jar. We're gonna get
a jar.
Yeah, right.
But you know what I think, me and you watching the same film, JR. We watching the same film, and y'all, like JR said, y'all go watch it too. Arthur Smith is really good at being a magician, making the pass look like the run and the run look like the pass. That way, you don't got to lean that heavily on that pass action, like you said, that play action.
Well, who else do we know that did that?
Go ahead.
Oh, Kyle Shanahan.
That is the strength of Shanahan. He can run out there in the same formation with the same personnel and run a million different plays.
Yep.
And pound for pound family. That is an offensive coordinator we can't mention.
There you go. Okay.
Keep rolling.
I'm sorry.
False Start Falcon is agreeing with me on my rant about the play action pass. Speed Falcon for Life says Jeff Ulbrich can kick rocks as well. Well, there goes Speed. He said he can kick rocks. He said we need a better DC. Speed. Let's not forget our defense. Defense gave up some big plays and game-winning drives to the Lions and the Bucs twice. Now, the only thing I'll say to that, Speed, I agree with you, but that was his first year as a full-time DC. Gotta give people chances to grow, right? Maybe. No.
Speed ain't trying to hear that.
I feel it, Speedy. Hey, Speedy, but you're right. And you know what? A lot of these old wounds that you opening, Make your point, bro, because all these games I'm reliving in my head. Jeff, we wish you well in New York.
God, me, Mike.
Go
like, hey, Speedy converted right there. You did it, Speedy.
Hey, how many of y'all bet that after Arthur Smith's presser that he immediately got on the phone and asked people to come in and take all them T-shirt slogans down that Dan Quinn got us?
I did notice that he said the word fast and the word physical. I was like, don't do it.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do it, Arthur.
Yeah.
Also
right.
cleaning the house, ain't it?
Hey, so look, you know what? Hey, Toby D, because you said that, just because you said that, Toby D, I really think, you know what? He had FedEx do it. FedEx came.
Shipped it all out, didn't he?
He said, Daddy, give me the best truck you got, Daddy. We'll get that one down. All gas, no brakes. That's gone. Got any more? Got any more?
That's right. Hit run.
Hey, and shout out to Derek Moore from Albany, Georgia, the chaplain who always says, "Rise up." You got to go to Samuel Jackson. You are going to.
Ghost Pepper says, "What's up, fellas? Good to see Toby back. Big thumbs up."
What's up,
so
Ghost
Arthur
Pepper?
seems better at winning and building a system than coming up with useless slogans like "Embrace the Suck." So,
there you go.
Oh, Speed Falcon is laughing at us. He said, we need a great start. Laugh. Oh, he said a fresh start. Tony Wright says, some Falcon fans need to realize that Arthur Smith knows that he is coming to a team where the cupboard is not bare on either side of the ball. Right. Yeah, like you got to figure he knows that, right? And he said the right things. He said that they weren't going to be prisoners of the moment. And, they said that they weren't going to make moves to only focus on 2021. They're looking at 2022 and 2023 down the road. And I think the last few years of Thomas Dimitrov, that was something that they got sucked into. It was almost like we're one player away kind of mentality. And I think that was inevitably a problem, right? That led us to, as much as I like him, drafting a Calvin Ridley when we didn't necessarily need a Calvin Ridley that year. But for all the folks out there, Terry Fontenot also mentioned that his draft strategy is best player available. I know that will be, that will be music to people's ears. That must sound like an angel chorus from the heavens.
Hey, JR, I want to do this now. Toby, it feel good to hear your voice here up in here. But let's go ahead and get your take on that, big dog, because I need to know what's up now. What's up? Come on with it.
Just because he said BPA does not mean Justin Fields is coming off the board at number 4. All right.
In a minute,
I
Toby.
just got to throw that out there. Whoa. Justin Fields might not even be his fourth best player on the doggone draft board. So let's get this straight now.
Chat is exploding right now.
Hey, I love Justin Fields as much as the next guy. We had him over here in Georgia, and Kirby Smart let him go. But that's beside the point at this time, because I'm not going to get on Kirby Smart. Right. But I'm not finna just jump all in and say, oh, yeah, we finna get Justin Fields because he mentioned best player available. And, JR, I want to get to your take on it, because you did mention before we got on here something you feel we might do in this draft for the first time.
Well, for the first time, I really feel like that we could, like the idea of trading down actually seems like something more than just an idea that we bandy about here in a chat room. You know what I'm saying? Or here on a live stream.
Right.
I really feel like like that Fontenot would look at this, and say, okay, look, we got more holes to fill than we got cap space to handle, so to speak. So the best bet, the best player available may be to trade down and give ourselves more selections. Like, you have the fact that Phillip Rivers retired, Drew Brees retired.
Oh, man.
I know I'm not saying that he wouldn't do the dirty and trade with the Saints. That would put him on a very bad list very quickly. But
especially on mine.
But
go ahead now.
What I'm saying is that there are going to be QB needy teams, right? There are going to be wide receiver needy teams that just got to have a Jamar Chase or a Waddle or Devontae Smith. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be teams that could potentially give you a franchise-changing haul, this year and into next, to where, like I was saying before, for all the people who feel like you got to have a quarterback this year, you take, you trade down, you get draft assets. Now, next year, you could trade back up if you needed to. If there's a QB that you want. Then I'm gonna go ahead and call it, guys.
Right.
If there's a QB that you want next year and you're dead set, say the 1 year experiment with Arthur Smith and Matt Ryan just don't work. Say Matt Ryan looks at it and says, I'm too old for this, pulls a lethal weapon, and takes his ball and goes home, so to speak, and you left holding the bag. Like, if that's your situation, you trade up and you get a QB, right?
Right.
You make that happen, okay?
Hey, JR, Fred Butt said no. Fred Butt don't
I
agree
know.
with you on
Look,
that.
hey, I get it.
Hey,
There are plenty of people out there that, look, even David M says a trade down is stupid, and you guys know it.
Yeah,
There are
they
going to be people who feel like you were at number 4. You may never be this high again, or you don't want to be this high again. Take your quarterback this year and move on, kind of thing. And that's
which is why, and I'm sorry, because you're on fire right now, and I just got to flavor it real quick.
He is on fire.
Which is why 2 things. Y'all got to check out our draft house, me and Jimbo Rowland. We missed it last week. We going and listen. We gonna touch on all of that. And here's the thing: keep that same energy when you see the draft house videos as well, because to be honest with you, we see a little bit of everything. With Terry Fontenot sprinkling in, like Jimbo said, his little bit of voodoo. I call it a little bit of Creole sauce in there.
And that
we don't know what's gonna happen.
Right.
Right. That Tony shit.
Y'all be
come on.
Right.
I can't pronounce no names, but I know what Tony Satchers is.
Hey, exactly though. Hey, you see what I'm saying? So y'all stay tuned. That's why I just y'all tap into that draft house. Keep them rolling because them views been rolling. JR, keep you on fire.
You burning it up tonight.
You know what that tells me is I'm doing too much of the talking. That's what that tells me. I'm stepping on.
Wow, you burnt.
What's up?
No, bro.
Hey,
somebody over here telling me I look like a D-line coach. Who said that? Fall-Star Falcon says Grim looks like a D-line coach. Holy crap!
Don't be throwing shots over here, man.
Listen.
Hey, hold on now.
Wait a minute now. Pound for pound family. Let me find out JR can get some pocket pressure.
Hey, look.
We send him up there.
I'm gonna be like Greg Williams. I'm gonna send 0 blitzes all day. See, thunder smoke is all I'm trying to say for you Madden players. I'm bringing a house.
Hey, speaking of D-line coach, I'm glad that got brought up because I didn't get a chance to talk about Fontenot. We know he wore a lot of hats over there in New Orleans, and I don't think those hats are going to change because he's over here in Atlanta. And one of the hats he mentioned about, I don't know if y'all heard him or not, but they did and do an extensive scouting on the coaches around the league.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to really help Arthur Smith be able to really pick out some good guys to join his group and really rely on those lists that Fontenot has, because that's another thing that he brings to the table at scouting coaches, their schemes and all of that stuff. And that also could possibly help them in scouting game day film for the team that they got to play.
I mean, I think...
Wow. That's right, Jake.
I think
point.
that...
Toby
I'm really interested to see like what it looks like with somebody else at the helm. Fontenot making. Yep.
Excited.
I am very very interested in that. TB3 said, "Would y'all be mad if we took a Devonta Smith or Jamar Chase? Because he did say best player available." What do you think?
Yeah, he did.
Who want to go first?
I'll go ahead.
You open it up in the bag.
Y'all have it.
Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, Mike.
Real quick, because again, like we ain't remember I told y'all check out Jack first one. But real quick now, it's a sensitive subject for me about Devontae Smith because one thing I believe And I might be alone. Y'all gonna say this is like Mike Dub, you crazy. I know it. Y'all gonna come to my Twitter and tell me I'm crazy, but it gotta be said. I like a Devontae Smith because he gives me that 2-4-1. And let me tell you what we also have a need for as Atlanta Falcons Nation. We have a punt return need. We have a kick return need.
That's right.
Hey, and we will find room for you as a receiver, Mr. Heisman Trophy. Doesn't matter.
And before I pass it off to you, Toby, I'm gonna hit it from this angle, right? That salary cap is it's a little bit we got some work to do, right, Jay? Right? Y'all can agree with me, right? Kevin Ridley, we might not be able to pay you, big dog.
Hey,
What's up with it? What's up with it? If we don't,
speaking the truth,
Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase will not look bad right about now. And I'm just gonna hit it from that angle. Toby, what's your thoughts on it, man? I hit it from that angle, and that's kind of a simple angle to hit it from, but it's something we got to talk about. Toby, what you think?
Fontenot already mentioned that there's nothing wrong with adding to a position of strength. And we know right now, currently, as we sit, that wide receiver is still a strong point, especially with the way that Russell Gage has played this year. And so I don't have no problem with how they run this draft. Now, although I would love to do and see what JR mentioned on his video about the last time the Falcons had a real great draft when they took Matt Ryan in 2008, we really need a draft like that. But if they decide to, Fontenot them decide that they can do get more production out of what they're trying to do in the draft by trading down, I'm fine with that too. I'm willing to give these guys a shot to do what they need to do. And I'm trying not to, I'm fighting it hard, JR, but I don't think I'm going to be able to fight it too much longer. I'm loving that Arthur Smith pickup by the Atlanta Falcons. I think they called him right on time.
I think so.
Right.
I think it's going to be a pick that does us well for years to come. Now, it may take a year to see some fruition to come out of it, as he gets the players in that he wants, as he gets the coaches in that he wants. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The secondary that he wants. I'm sorry. This is the time to say, hey, let's be honest. Arthur Smith is inheriting a team with Isaiah Oliver.
I thought we were gonna get through a whole show.
I know it's gonna come to the front. Nope. I know Reginald. We made it the whole show. Reginald Oliver had to say it. So look, we got to do something. Got a lot of holes. Anyway, Reginald Oliver.
And it's not just like you talk about, Isaiah Oliver, and we do it as joking and poking fun, so to speak. But
only fun.
I mean, you're dead serious, like in the sense of like I'm pretty sure you ain't bringing Ricardo Allen back. I mean, Keanu Neal's his contract's up. What do you do there, right?
There you go.
I mean, like the secondary, whoever they bring in as DC. He better be a magician, because
he better.
You got a real good chance of having a very poor secondary. It wasn't that great this year.
Come on.
I will say this: Joe Witt Jr. didn't necessarily impress me. I know he's gone. I know he got hired by Dallas, I think, as well. But
I'm sorry, JR. One more thing. See, you keep just say it. Pound for pound family. Let me apologize. I don't know what these other guys got to say, but let me personally apologize for our videos on Joe Witt Jr. building optimism. We missed the mark. I missed the mark personally. So I just wanted to apologize to all of y'all at Pound for Pound family on the Joe Witt video. He is in a better place in Dallas, and that's that. But I'm sorry, when you say Joe Witt, it just again you triggering it, JR. So
JR on fire.
Archangel over here talking about we have to clear cap space. Yeah, he's gonna have to get creative as far as clearing cap space, restructuring deals, things like that. It'll be real interesting to see if they restructure a Matt Ryan deal again. If they restructure a Julio Jones deal. These are things that will give you ideas of how they see them and what their plans are, for these players.
Right.
Do we restructure a Jake Matthews deal, Grady Jarrett, Deion Jones? These are all guys who are up for a potential restructure. So it would be interesting to see how all that goes. Tony Wright is doing his famous, I'm going to give you an entire draft scenario. So I'm going to, he hits us with an entire draft scenario. I love it. I love the fact that I look down and see it, but Oh,
It
yeah.
looked good,
Tony
too.
Wright says, with trading down, you get a first-round running back, Najee Harris. Second round, get
There you go.
Asante Samuel Jr. The second
Okay.
round, get a defensive end, Patrick Jones.
not
Third
bad.
round, get a left guard, Trey Smith. Third round again,
Mhm.
get
Okay. Yes.
linebacker Monty Rice.
I love that.
Those are some
Come
good
on, man.
names. Okay, you
I
getting
like
some
it.
good
Keep it.
reactions, Tony.
Come on, man.
Like
Yeah,
I
Tony.
say, I am just
Indeed.
getting into, the draft stuff. We got, what is it? It's the end of January, so we got February, March, the end of April. We got 3 months for me to get
Yep.
really start to get real familiar with this kind of stuff.
Right.
I'm not sure how good a left guard Trey Smith is out of Tennessee. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
He's
I
not
know that
bad.
Tennessee fired their coach, so that means they probably didn't play well. So,
Nah, that was some other stuff, but it didn't play
so
well.
there might have
There
been
was
some other
other
things,
factors as well.
some extracurriculars.
But
Play
I
was
got you.
involved.
I got you.
Yes.
and if JR decide to go live for that whole draft like he did last year, I'm gonna be
Okay,
with you
cool.
this year,
No,
big dog.
that's my
I was
plan.
with you all last year. I'll be with you again, big dog.
What's that old saying? God willing, the creek don't rise. That is my plan. Is to do the whole first round like I did last year. I had a lot of fun with that.
I'm right there with you.
So yeah, that is my plan. And this time around, I done
Sweet.
got a year doing this whole live streaming from my house underneath my belt. So we may have some fun
Sweet,
with it,
baby.
Reggie,
I like it.
2K. Hey JR. Hey me. Yay. Oh, all right. Hey JR. I wish you could submit the draft list to T-Font. Well, you know what? All he has to do is come on the show, right? Somebody just tweet Terry Font the link, right?
All it.
And y'all
Y'all
just tweet at
bring
him,
him on.
email it to him, tell him we're on
We'll
every
be talking.
Wednesdays, and we'll be talking about it all off season. So,
Yeah. And matter of fact, we'll even get him to say Jimbo Slicer. Hey, just don't call Terry. Don't call
that's
Terry.
right.
Font
Hey,
on
look,
those
he had,
things, man.
Please
hey,
say
he
that,
done put
Terry.
his kids in the swag closet. They
Hey.
raided a swag closet before they got up on that live stream.
They did.
Total conversion.
Hey, and listen, and you know what I like about his son too. His favorite player is a receiver who actually can run every route in the route tree.
Who actually
just-
has a catch in the
anyway.
biggest game? Oh, okay. Are we gonna get into
Oh,
that? 'Cause
man,
we
yeah,
can get into that.
Yeah.
We can
How-
throw that all
how you
night
gonna be
long.
king?
Anyway.
Can't guard Mike. Apparently you can.
Oh yes, you can. 3 yards in a cloud of dust. That's right. 3 yards in a cloud of dust himself. Anyway,
Appar-
his son's favorite receiver
Apparently
already.
you
the Jet
can
himself.
guard him.
Son
Okay,
already
that's
got
that's all I'm trying to say.
You can go out, Mike. You can go out,
Stephen B says if the Falcons take a running back first round, he'll end up having a year like Saquon Barkley just had. Oh Lord, I hope you're not like
That's a bold
predicting an injury. That's no good.
I'm like, why would you do that?
Don't do that, to nobody.
That's some- knock on.
Marcus Watson says, really don't think a lineman is the answer at number 4. If it's an offensive lineman, it could be the answer at number 4. I'm just saying. Like a Panay Sewell,
Hey.
or there's another name that's starting to float around, Rashawn Slater, I believe
You
is his
said,
name.
JR. Out of
Uh-huh.
Northwestern. He's graded higher than Panay Sewell, but we're going to get the draft
Yeah,
off. Y'all
that's
just
right,
hold
that's
your
right.
horses now. Just
Hey.
hold on.
He's
Y'all about to get me
Yeah.
excited, man.
not the venue.
Let's see.
Not the venue.
Archangel says Allen Robinson to Atlanta and let go Julio. Well, you ain't gonna let go Julio, not right now, not without taking a major cap hit, but right.
Cut it out, man.
Jordan Daniel says, "Hey guys, if y'all are looking around at running backs, check out oh Lord. That's a name right there.
Come on, JR, what you got,
Stevenson from Oklahoma. I'm gonna go there. I'm not even gonna attempt that first name. Yeah, that's right. Oklahoma Stevenson, 6'1", 250. Holy crap, that's not a running back. That's a fullback.
I was-
The guy's a
fullback.
beast. Breaks tackles like crazy. Yeah, I would imagine at 250 he would break tackles like crazy.
Okay. So first of all, I agree with the tape. I agree with the analysis, but I don't know what book you're reading. He's more 220,
Okay.
230. To be honest, hold on. I don't want a 250 this guy, first of all, and because he doesn't. Because I don't want y'all to think y'all might be expecting Mike Allstott when you look at this guy, right? The way they talk about the measurables. But when I look at the guy play, to be honest with you, he's a guy that caught my eye in the beatdown, I believe, of Florida in the bowl game, because they had absolutely no answer for this guy. Measurables aside, I definitely think that he's a guy that we almost got to kind of be quiet about.
Don't want to bring
'Cause I
too
think
much
that
attention.
when a combine comes around, I think he's a guy that's going to sneak up and potentially be a first rounder when you go back and look at his tape.
Yeah,
Because
you're
now,
right, Jimmy.
right now,
There ain't no combine this year.
Yeah,
This
no
gonna be really
combine.
interesting for us.
well, yeah, but okay, yeah, you're right. So so let's talk. Yeah, wait, let's just touch on
Yeah,
it.
no combine this year. It's
Wait a
gonna
minute.
be all like they better
All
put
pro
together a
days.
cracking scouting department because these guys are going to have to be jet setting, driving, bussing, whatever. Because you're going to have to go to schools and that's it.
So that's another advantage though. So that plays in the Fontenot though, because Fontenot with Jimbo. What was Fontenot with the Saints? Scouting, right?
Well,
He was
pro
one of the
personnel.
best scouters ever. Pro personnel, and he started off a little scouter when he came out of the intern for Tulane. But this is another reason that a lot of guys are starting to opt into that Senior Bowl, which we haven't not seen before. A lot of players didn't play in that Senior Bowl, but now they're starting to do this. But I want to ask you this real quick, Toby D. This is the Michael Parsons out of the Penn State linebackers. I mean, you, JR, you and Mike can chime in on it too if you want, but I want to get Toby's idea. You know Michael Parsons, linebacker out of Penn State. Would you take him at 4 or would you trade down? Because this is what it's going to offseason, like JR said. Trade down, it's going to trade, stand at 4 and trade down is going to be the big subject for this offseason. How you feel about Michael Parsons out of Penn State?
Well, I will say this, in all honesty, I have not had a chance to look at any film yet on college.
Okay.
But because I usually don't start doing that till we get to finding out who all has, declared for the draft and stuff like that. So I really get a gauge on who's in there. But I will say this, I do not see this as the best. The last 3 years have been real great as far as defense has gone. I don't see that this year at first glance. So no, I probably would not take him. I'm going to look at the film, of course, because I hadn't looked at the film. But I probably would not take any defensive player at number 4. I'm just being honest.
And that sounds good. What's your thoughts on that, JR?
I did a mock where I took Parsons at 4, just because in this early goings, he seems like the definitive best defensive player. And as we talked about before, linebackers are a strength of the team. So. But I wouldn't necessarily mind adding, especially if you're going to potentially switch to a 3-4. Having more linebackers, especially linebackers who can rush, a Michael Walker, if we got a Micah Parsons, because apparently Parsons did a lot of different things, which is becoming a mold in the linebacker world at college. Is these linebackers, you got to think of Isaiah Simmons, Dayon Buchanan. That's becoming a trend where these guys they just play in the middle. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like a not defined role anymore.
There you go.
Well, but okay. So Michael Parsons, I'm glad you brought that point up, JR, because to be honest with you, I was pretty high on Michael Parsons. I'll be honest with you, because I thought that, if we stick with our traditional 4-3, he's a guy that we can utilize in different ways. But I think if you look at this spread NFL and having a guy like that, I think it doesn't address our bigger needs, to be honest with you.
Not at all, Mike.
I would be much more comfortable with another cornerback to pair
with
our
AJ.
star
Okay.
cornerback. Let's just call him a star, man. Let's just call it our star.
Yeah.
He got the moxie, he's got the swagger, he's got the technique, he's got the consistency that you want in a corner. We need another guy just like that, right? So I would be more willing.
Uh-oh. Did we lose Mike?
Be more willing. Oh, there you go. What's up now?
Back? Okay, good.
I'm sorry. I'll be more willing to throw my dice on the table for another cornerback.
I got you.
And again, they talk about these horrible, why would we trade back? You ask yourself, are there any corners out there that would look good next to AJ Terrell? Would J.C. Horn look good next to AJ Terrell? You have to ask yourself. I think he would. Because when you build a team, you got to have solid secondary. Every team that is still in it has somebody, they got solid corners in their secondary. So it's a non-negotiable.
Right.
Brandon Levy tipped us $5. We appreciate that, Brandon.
Hey, man.
He said, Toby D,
what's up?
good to see you back. Love the show. P for P. That's right. We are very glad to have Toby back. All right, gentlemen, we have bumped up over an hour. We managed to do it yet again. Imagine that. You add more people to it, and we can continue talking forever.
Oh yeah.
As it stands right now, like, as long as y'all show up and as long as we feel like talking, we'll be back again next week. That's just how all this rolls. Like I said before, I got a show coming out tomorrow, Falcon Eye View, where I'm going to take a closer look at Arthur Smith's scheme. We got the Draft House coming out on Saturday, I believe is when that one's going to launch. And
Yes, sir.
I believe Toby D will have a video for y'all on Monday. So
Yes,
we
sir.
are going to try to do good this off season about giving y'all the content that y'all want. And all y'all are required to do is watch it. That's all you got to do. You watch it and you let us know that you like it. And that's it,
That's it.
As always, you can find me on Twitter. I'm at Grim1128, GRIMM1128. Jimmy?
You can find me on Twitter at Jimmy Obama, JIMMYOBAMA. And shout out to Sarah Thomas, the first female that's gonna be refereeing in the Super Bowl.
right.
Shout out to Sarah Thomas for that. Legit, I love it. Big Mike plugging in.
Hey man, you know what? Again, another week. Y'all show up. We show out.
That's it.
Follow your boy on Twitter at MikeDub, MIKE_DUB. I follow back. If I don't, call me out. Appreciate it.
Toby D.
Hey, you already know it's Toby D, 1991. I haven't been on there as much in the last 4 months. I'm just starting to get back on there. But you can always hit me up. You got any questions? Hey, hit me up.
That's it. All right.
Glad to have you back.
That's
folks.
it. Yes, very much
Man,
so.
appreciate it.
Glad to have you back. Somebody asked about what our viewing schedules were. I'll run that down one more time. We stream now on Wednesday nights, 7:30. We have a draft. Then we'll have Falcon Eye View come out on Thursday nights. The Draft House will come out on Saturday nights, and Toby D's show will come out on Monday, and then we'll do it all over again. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And man, you guys got a #1 fan of me on Draft House, and I'm definitely gonna be checking it out for these draft.
I know it. I already know it.
Toby done put the pressure on.
it.
The pressure's on.
He ain't got to say nothing.
And as always,
Nothing to
Falcons
it.
fans, rise up.
Rise up.
Up.